I think we can all agree that conference realignment is super necessary. The conferences are way too big and muddy, and I think uh, the talent disparity um, is way too much. Like I think there's some like the Big Ten, SEC, for example, are like up here, everyone else is down here. It almost doesn't even make it worth it to have full CFPs comprised of like Big 12 schools. Um, I thought it'd be fun in lieu of my, favorite college football team, just, having another scandal, and doing a fun video. I'm going to show you guys my idea for conference realignment. This is purely hypothetical. It's purely for shits and giggles. I'm not doing it for any other reason other than I have no life and I'm a nerd and this stuff makes me happy. So let's go over it. Um, I'm just going to put up a snapshot here of just all the conferences together, and then I can break them down one by one. I have 8 Power FBS conferences in total. I did my best to divvy up the talent evenly so that every conference has at least a small handful of really good, solid programs in it that are capable of winning games and winning titles, perhaps. Um, every conference has 10 teams except for two. Heartland Conference, which is an idea I came up with years ago to comprise all those like farm teams with the corn-fed farm boys on the offensive line, and the ACC has 12. Um, the ACC is probably the conference that uh, I changed up the most. Um, I added back in Maryland because it just makes too much sense. I added JMU because I think JMU might feel disrespected, but let's put them into a power conference and see if they can still win games. If they can, then good on them. Until then, though, let's put them into a power conference and find out. And then I added South Carolina. Now, SEC people are going to say that, well, that's just a no go. That's stupid. They would never do that. But let's be honest. South Carolina is a perfect ACC school, and they already share the state with Clemson. So you might be able to have that in-state game more often. Well, actually, they probably already play every year, don't they? But I digress. Um, but I wanted to make the ACC a little more competitive, but I also wanted to shrink the size of it. The ACC is massive right now. Might actually be bigger than the Big Ten. Um, but with that comes, the issue like we had this year with an 8-4 Duke team going to a title game, but not 10-2 Miami, just because Miami had a worse conference record. But they had no common opponents pretty much. So that's what I really wanted to do with this whole exercise. I wanted the conferences to stay between that 10 to 12 team range max, just because it eliminates common opponent issues because everybody pretty much has the same common opponents. The teams or the conferences with 10 teams obviously have the same exact common opponents as one another because they can just play those 9 schools in their conference plus an additional 3. With the ACC, it would be a little different, but you know, I don't think we'd have issues often enough for it to matter a ton. Excuse me, to matter a ton. Um, I also wanted this to be make a little bit more geographical sense. Um, so I'm going to take the Pac-10 into account. The Pac-10 should never have been disbanded, in my opinion. It's a very relevant and historical conference, and uh, I think that you can easily make TV deals and revenue sharing deals and whatever else the reason was for disbanding and joining the Big Ten. But it's essentially the same exact format that it used to be, except I'm adding in Boise State because I think Boise State would be a good quality group of 5 team to kind of elevate to these ranks. Um, so I really like that. The Big 12, I'd be adding in Tulane and UNLV. Um, the Big 10, I'd be adding in Pitt. I think Pitt would be a perfect Big 10 school. It geographically makes sense. Um, they are, I think they've been more consistently relevant in recent years than like Purdue or Northwestern. Um, but I just think that it just makes too much sense to me. I have no other real explanation. I just think I can just envision Pitt in the Big Ten. Um, the American Conference was kind of a fun one, and I know most people in the comments or most people I talk to, they're always like, "Well, Notre Dame would just join the Big Ten." And that's probably true, and I certainly wouldn't complain. It would make sense. It fits all the criteria. I just think it'd be fun to kind of build a conference around them. Um, I kind of call it the smart kid conference. Uh, Notre Dame, great school; Vanderbilt, great school; Northwestern, Stanford, Navy, Army. These are all really good schools. So there's a cultural element there too, to a degree. Um, and you might say that like, well, Notre Dame would run away with that conference every year. Maybe. But again, this is all just shits and giggles. I'm open to ideas. Um, Vanderbilt at least would give them a fight. I mean, they got the best QB in the next class coming in, so we'll see. I mean, Northwestern looks like they're competitive. Navy's always competitive. Army's always tough. So you never know. Um, that was the primary goal of the whole exercise in this was how do I shrink these conferences, m- you know, and kind of evenly disperse the talent. Because like, let's just go hypothetically here with these 8 schools. You'll say Ohio State wins the Big Ten, Georgia wins the SEC, Clemson wins the ACC, BYU wins the Big 12, Oregon wins the Pac-10, Texas wins the Southwest, uh, you know, Iowa wins the Heartland, and then Notre Dame wins the American. Those are 8 really solid programs that I think would all, under most circumstances, be considered playoff caliber teams anyway. So if you simply just made a 12-team playoff in this format, you could do the 8 power conference champions, give them automatic bids. Um, excuse me, my voice keeps cracking like a 12-year-old. Just give them automatic bids, 1 through 8, right? And the last 4 spots can just be to the 4 um, highest ranked remaining teams in the FBS. That way, I made a video already bitching and moaning about, uh, you know, why the hell is JMU and Tulane in there? They're not real championship caliber teams in the FBS, but you never know. I mean, look at Indiana. Indiana was the bottom feeding team of the FBS and took one coach and a few transfers, and now look at them. So, I don't see why Tulane can't be that someday, but they're not right now. That's kind of the whole point. That's also why I want to put JMU in a power conference. Screw it. Let's see how they do. Um, so yeah, uh, that is my conference realignment idea. Um, comment what you would do because I mean I'm open to ideas. I think it's really cool to hear people's ideas on this. Um, I nerd out like crazy. This stuff is so fun for me. Like again, I have no life. Some people call me a loser. I don't care. Um, call me whatever you want. Your view means the same. Counts all the same. So yeah, just comment down below. If you think I'm an idiot, tell me I'm an idiot. If you like it, drop a like, maybe share with somebody. But tell me what y'all think. And I love this game.